Hi folks, my name is Christopher Emmerling. I'm a member of the Innovations of Special Education Technology, ISET, a subdivision under the Council for Exceptional Children. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what Google Classroom is, a few of the key features just to get you going. And just kind of explain the importance of it. And Google Classroom really in all it is a online classroom platform for teachers to store documents, assign assignments and grade them, and interact with students from a distance. If any of you remember from undergrad or graduate work, it's very similar to Blackboard in a way, but the Google version. So it comes with all the G Suite Drive apps such as Google Docs and Google Sheets and so on, but it allows you as the teacher to make assignments, make announcements to your class, store different classroom materials, and allow your students to interact with you and one another. It's a great option for teachers everywhere, but especially during a time when distance learning is the only way that we're able to support our students. It's definitely something we should start looking into. So first things first, where do we find Google Classroom? Well, first of all, you would need to have a Gmail account, you and your students. Very easy to set up. If you do not already use Gmail, I would suggest just typing into the search engine or search bar steps on how to set one up. Very, very simple, very easy to find. But once you have your Gmail account, and if you've already been familiar and have used Gmail before and some of the apps that come with G Suite, you would know that the navigation is right up here in the right hand corner, and it's these 9 boxes that are shaped into a 3x3 larger box. So you click on it, and again, this is where a lot of the Google's apps are housed. So you have Google Drive, you have your Gmail, you have your Google Docs, and then if you scroll all the way down, you see right here is Google Classroom. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. Now, I've already have a demo created in mind, so it's Mr. Emmerling's class. But if you were to do this for the first time, it would ask you to either create a classroom or join a class. So it gives you the option as both teacher and student. Something that I like to point out whenever using Google apps, they try to make it as user-friendly as possible. So a lot of the icons and a lot of the things you'll see throughout the different platforms are the same. So if we come right over here to the plus sign, we just click on that. It says create or join another class. Very familiar to Google Docs. So I'm going to add create a class. And then you get to name it. So I'm just going to say Mr. Emmerling English. And then section 101, subject, English, AP, language arts and composition, sure. And then room 100. As it creates, there we go, pop up right next to my demo. So this is exactly what you and your students will see on both ends. As we look at it for a moment and orientate ourselves, you start to see certain things that do look familiar if you've used the Google apps before. But if we come across the top here, so the stream, this is our stream. And when you start to populate it with assignments and announcements, think of it more as a feed, like a Facebook feed or an Instagram feed. Everything will be listed. And then you have classwork here, which allows you to create your assignments. Again, very familiar if you've used Google Docs or Google Sheets before. You would click create and you would start to be able to customize the assignments that are specific to your course and to your students. You're able to add it to Google Calendar, and then of course the class drive folder. Again, access to all of the Google apps. All right, so now let's take a look at how you would invite your students from your class. There's 2 very distinct ways that you can do this. The first one would be coming right here under the title of your course's name. You have class code. You can expand that a little bit. If students were in front of you, you were doing this in your classroom and having them set it up in the beginning of the year, you can have your students take this code once they go in through Google Classroom on their end and enter this code name when it would prompt them to join a class. And this code is very specific to just your classroom, and it will automatically add them to the roster. However, if you're starting a Google Classroom during the time of COVID or for distance learning and you have not do not have the opportunity to be face to face with your students, a manual way to do it is to come right up here at People. You see yourself listed as teacher, and then over here at Students, you would go and add, invite them, and start typing in their email. Again, has to be a Gmail account or it will not allow you to add them to the classroom. So I'm going to highlight here, this is my dummy account, and invite. Great. So it shows that it's highlighted, or it's in gray tone, which means it's waiting for me on my end to go through and accept to come into the classroom. So we're going to come back out for a moment. Great. So before we go and see what it looks like on the student end, I just want to point out a few ways that you can customize. We're not going to get into it, but so you could start selecting themes, uploading full photos to the classroom. Again, there's a lot of different things you can do here. Not the most basic and not the most important things, but Google does allow you to take the customization into account. Great, so now that we've gone and invited our students, I want us to take a quick look at what the students will see on their end. So they will go into their Gmail account, and this is what the email will look like. Welcome to Google Classroom, and it will say your name and ask them to join. They will follow the link, which will open, join class. You've been invited by Mr. Emmerling to join his English course. Of course, go and hit join. Great. So here it prompts you to create posts, and then it shows view class updates and connect with your class here. So across the top you see the stream. It looks the same as ours on the teacher end, classwork, and people. All right, so our student has been added to the roster, and now I'm back in the teacher portal and on the teacher view. And the last thing I will leave you with today is uploading your first assignment. So we're going to come up to classwork, and again, it looks a little bit similar to if we've ever used Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets. So we'll go to create, and this brings a drop-down menu into assignments, quizzes, questions, different materials we can add. So we will be adding an assignment here, and this is an English class. So let's say we are starting a lesson on essays on giving your personal TED Talk on what you're great at. So, welcome to my TED Talk. And then we'll give some brief instructions for our students. Write an essay about ... And let's say I have a really cool link that I want my students to reference. It's a great video on a TED Talk. And I will just come to the YouTube channel and go to shareable link. Come back to my assignment. I will add a link here. Uploads, very now easily accessible for the students. We will also come over to the right-hand side. Different particulars about the assignment, how many points it's worth, a different due date. To input the due date, we'll give it about 2 weeks. Optional time, topic. So if we are creating a series on TED Talk essays, I can create a folder here. So every time I assign a new TED Talk essay, it just all live in the same folder. It also gives you an opportunity for rubrics. You can create a rubric through Google Classroom. You can reuse old ones that you've created. You could import them from Sheets. You possibly have one that you already use and you like, and you just want to go ahead and add a file from your own personal device. Great. So now we launch it. Hit assign. Great. So we come back to our stream, and it's populated. So we see that I've assigned a new assignment. Welcome to my TED Talk. On all my students' streams and on all their end, they can see that there's now an assignment that's been posted. They will get an email notification. So, covered a lot in a short period of time. These are some of the mechanics and basics of Google Classroom. By no means exhaustive, and there's so many other resources out there and available for you to access. ISET will be linking some different resources and videos for you to take a deeper dive if you'd like to, but this will definitely get the ball rolling. Again, thank you so much and be well.